Hello, my name is Leroy Blevins. Welcome to Mysteries and Histories. On this episode here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about proving a conspiracy in a JFK assassination. Now, if you watch my other videos, okay, and if you go over my research and stuff, as you notice, I will always speak highly of other JFK researchers. And there's a lot of things that people don't understand. Now, if you watch my videos and you understand and you start looking at my videos and start going over my evidence, because there's been people out there, always putting my research down, saying one thing or another or anything else. But as you notice, I always said the evidence has been in front of the public's eye for the past 54 years. I've always said there was a certain percentage of, research can be fact, and only a certain percentage of research can be false. And like I said again, I've always speak highly of other JFK researchers. For years, we were told there was a conspiracy. There was gunmen on a grassy knoll. There was, Oswald being innocent, but then Oswald being part of the assassination. Okay, they're saying all these researchers are saying this, but actually they're right to a point. Now you're probably sitting there saying, well, how can they be right to a point when you're sitting there saying your research is different than their research and everything else? When you think about it and you start piecing everything together and you come to understand a lot more, okay, as I also point out in my research, okay, JFK researchers base a lot of their evidence on testimonies and stories that's told. This is a fact. All I did, okay, when I got into doing this research stuff, all I did was basically prove a lot of their theories. I proved a lot of their theories to be fact. And as I always point out, my research fits in to all of their research, eyewitness accounts, and everything else. Another, again, proven fact. Okay, you see what I'm saying? People are probably sitting there, you probably, got a couple questions in mind right now saying, well, how can you be right and then be wrong? They're wrong about the positions that they place their gunmen. Other than that, they're right on a lot of stuff. It's just, like I said, they're basing their research on testimonies by people. Okay? All I did was come along to prove a lot of their cases were exact, and it was right. And what I'm going to do is, as you see behind me, I got some images and stuff. We're going to pull these images up. We're going to pull up some of these researchers and stuff, and we're going to prove that, yes, they are right. But, like I said, they're pinpointing the location of these assassins in wrong locations. But it's not based on it's based on their research, but it's based on the testimonies and stuff that's told to them. Now let me show you. Jim Myers, great researcher, great man. God rest his soul. He claimed there was a crossfire. That's the reason why he named his book Crossfire. And he, said there was a crossfire. What happened? Let's look at this for a moment. We'll bring up Jim Myers' image again, because I like to show him, because he's a great man. That's why I said I like to talk about a lot of these researchers, because they are great researchers. Jim Myers says there was a crossfire. What does my evidence prove? There was a crossfire. So see, Jim Myers said there was a crossfire. My evidence proved there was a crossfire. Okay? Now, let's look at Don Adams. Don Adams, he said there was 11 shots taken that day. Okay, I found there was 11 shots that day. 13 shots, excuse me. I found there was 13 shots that happened that day. He said there was 11. He might have missed 2 of them. The 2 he might have missed was the grass area shots, because them are hard to pick up. Now, if you deduct the grass area shots, which is the 2 shots in the grass area, what number do you come up with? Number 11. So he knows about all these other shots, but he might have missed the grass area shots. Like I said, they're hard They're hard to pick up. They're hard to pinpoint. I done it because I'm experienced in photographic evidence. I mean, photographic analyzing and everything else, which these guys are not. So now he's right as well. There was 11 shots, but actually it was 13. He was just off by 2. So you see what I'm saying? Right now, so far, I've shown 2 researchers. Okay, one of them, looked at the first-hand stuff. I've proven their case. I've proven there was a crossfire by Jim Myers. I've proven there was 11 shots, but there was actually 2 he missed. I proved Dot Adams' story. So see, that's all I'm doing is proving their theories and their stories right along with my research as well. I'm proving everybody to be right. Now let's look at Robert Groden. Robert Groden, again, a lot of people says bad things and stuff like that about him. But, I think he's a great researcher and stuff. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have the Zapruder film out or anything else like that. Maybe a lot of this evidence that's out today, we probably wouldn't have it today if it wasn't for this man right here. Like I said, I speak highly of all of them. I give them all respect. Let's look at him. He claimed there was 12 to 14 shots. In between 12 and 14 is what? 13. He claims JFK was shot 4 times. I claim JFK was shot 4 times as well. He claimed there was gunmen behind a picket fence area. Okay, but basically the grassy knoll. There was a gunman on the grassy knoll that took the fatal headshot to JFK on the grassy knoll. I've proven there was a gunman on a grassy knoll. And he did take that fatal headshot. So see, his research also matches mine as well. He talked about it. I find the evidence to back it up. Same for Jim Myers. He talked about it. I found the evidence to back it up. Dot Adams, I found the evidence and I backed it up. Okay? Now, we'll get on to Howard Donahue in a minute. Here we have Ferris Rookstool III. He claimed there was a cover-up and a conspiracy because Oswald's wallet, they claimed at the police department, they claimed it was found on Oswald. No, it wasn't. It was found at the scene of Officer Tippett's where he got shot. That's where they found Oswald's wallet. He showed images and stuff like that, comparing and everything else, which he's, this is a still shot from the scene of Officer Tippett shooting, and it showed the wallet here. Now, for years, people thought that was Officer Tippett's wallet, but it wasn't. If it was Officer Tippett's wallet, it would still be on him, and they wouldn't take it out until after they get to the morgue or whatever, or to the hospital. But they found this there. This is not Officer Tippett's wallet. This wallet matches Oswald's. He was true about that. That was a fact. We have right here, I'll zoom in case, I'm over here. I know that. This is Officer Tippett's wallet right here. See how more like newish it looks and everything else, how clean it is. And you watch from here to here. Okay, you see how wide that is? That's like almost about an inch and a half long. Now let's look over here. It's not even approximately about an inch. And there's a metal, and it's rounded off here, which this is squared off. Okay, this is squared off. And it's rounded off right here. And there's a metal bar going across this right here, metal plate like. Well, let's look at here. Here's Oswald's wallet. This is identical to this right here. This matches up to this wallet right here. And this is Oswald's wallet because here is the images and everything else that they found on Oswald's wallet. Here's his wallet here. Here's his ID and stuff that has his regular ID and stuff. His A. Heidel was found in here. His military ID was found in here and everything else. And his picture of his wife, Marina, was found there. Okay, this is all in Oswald's wallet. The wallet that they found at the crime scene of Officer Tippett being shot was Oswald's wallet. They wasn't looking at Officer Tippett's wallet. They was looking at Oswald's wallet. So again, yeah, he proved. All I did was look at it, and I proved it to be true because we can analyze it, we can see it, and we can verify that that's Oswald's wallet. So see, all I'm doing is proving everybody else's case. Now everybody else claimed that the tramps were the assassins on the grassy knoll. Let me point this out. I proved by my research that this man here, this gunman right here, this one here, I'll shrink this, and then this one here. In my research, I prove that these two tramps here were in fact the gunmen on the grassy knoll. I also proved that this is the gunman that took the fatal headshot to JFK. I proved that this is the gunman that took the shot to Governor Connally. The only thing that's different between my research and their research is they placed other people's names to them. They said these are the gunmen. They've been claiming that these were the gunmen on the grassy knoll the whole time. I show evidence they were in fact the gunmen on the grassy knoll. Now, let's look at the location. We're going to take the Mormon photo. They claim the gunman, the assassin, was on the grassy knoll. My gunmen are on the grassy knoll if you actually think about it. But they claim it's behind a picket fence area. All I'm doing is saying now showing there was actually in shelter number 3. There wasn't behind a picket fence area. There was in shelter number 3, right behind Mr. Zapruder and Mrs. Setzman. Okay? So my research is still backing up their gunmen on the grassy knoll. My research has proven that there's 2 gunmen on the grassy knoll. My research proves that the fatal headshot came from this gunman right here inside of shelter number 3 on the grassy knoll. So see, my gunman's location is on the grassy knoll, right along with their gunman's location on the grassy knoll. However, they're placing it behind a picket fence because it was a story that was told to them. I'm showing them in shelter number 3, right behind Mr. Zapruder. So see, they're right to a point. They are right. All I am doing is showing the evidence to prove their story as well. They said it was a conspiracy. I'm proving that it was a conspiracy because I found the evidence to prove it was a conspiracy. I'm showing evidence there was more than one gunman. They claimed there was more gunmen. Okay. Now let's look at Donahue. Howard Donahue, okay, said that JFK was shot coming in from the right out to the left. Okay. And he claimed it was this guy right here, Secret Service agent, is the one that shot JFK. To a point, he was right as well. He was right as well. What threw him off, and people don't understand this, what threw him off was he wasn't looking at this point. He was looking at JFK's name down at this point for the fatal headshot. Okay, which he'd be this guy right here. But what he didn't know, okay, he didn't know because he didn't have a photographic experience or anything else, that this shot here to the back of JFK's head that came in from the right going out to the left, that shot happened by frame 229 of the Zapruder film. So when we look at this, and it was taken by the gunman on the 2nd floor of the county records building. Strikes JFK coming in from the right, going out to the left. Same as Donahue was talking about. But remember, he moved him down here. But actually, it was back here where that shot occurred. But he was looking at it being taken down here. You see what I'm saying? So see, he was right to a point. He pinpointed the angle of that shot coming in from the right, going out to the left, and being up, coming down right, and then left. You know what I'm saying? Coming in from the right, out to the left. He was right. He was only wrong about the location where that shot came from. It didn't come from this guy right here. Okay? It came from this gunman here on the 2nd floor of the county records building. That's where that shot came from. This can be seen right here. That's the shot that Donahue was talking about, that he thought came from the guy in a follow-up car. Okay, but it wasn't. It was this gunman right here. That's that shot. How I know that shot? Because I line up these images and shots. At this point here, when Algin took his image number 6, okay, was taken by frame 254. That headshot to the back of JFK's head was already taken. But like I said, they look at it as the fatal headshot, but it was actually already taken. Because if you see right here, that guy that's has that rifle in his hand, which I'll show you right here. Let me bring that up, bring this up, and we'll bring that back up. That guy right here with the rifle in his hand is right here. As you notice, he's looking out to the back. He's looking out to the back. Same as he is, same as he is. He's looking at the Kennedys. He's looking over to the side here. So we got 1, 2, 3 Secret Service agents looking to the back. Only Agent Hill was the only one paying attention over here. He wasn't even paying attention to what was going on in front. He wasn't paying attention on what was going on in front. He wasn't either, and he wasn't either. So how can he take a shot at JFK? Because at this point, JFK was already shot in the back and head. At this point, JFK was already shot twice, and Governor Connally was already shot once, if you watch my research. Okay? So this guy here did not take that shot to JFK. It was a gunman on the second floor of the county records building. You see what I'm saying? Everything that they're claiming, a lot of these people are claiming, they're claiming, a conspiracy. I showed that evidence there was a conspiracy. Jim Myers, crossfire. I showed, yeah, there was a crossfire. Robert Groden, there was 12 to 14 shots. JFK was shot 4 times. The gunman was on a grassy knoll. I could prove that. That JFK was shot 4 times. I could prove there was 13 shots fired, not 14, but 13. And I could prove the fatal headshot came from the grassy knoll, which is not behind a picket fence, but in shelter number 3. So see, everything that I put out there, everything that I show, everything I put on the table backs up all these researchers' story. Just like when I sit there and I talk about the fatal headshot, the side of JFK's head opening up. Okay, what's Mr. Zapruder saying here on the news? The side of JFK's head opens up. The Newmans, same as the Newmans. The side of JFK's head opening up. The side of JFK's head opening up. Basically, this is what I'm saying. Everything that I'm showing, everything right here. She's even sitting there saying, JFK's head opened up like that. Everything that I have found is backed up by eyewitness accounts and even by other researchers. Do you see what I'm saying? Everybody's research is matching now. Now, years ago, when they sit there and tell me on the phone, can you blend my research in with your research? I can to a point. But I cannot put your research in there from the gunman's locations, because then we're not the gunman's location. The films and images show us the true location of these gunmen and their location, and shots are taken and everything else. But they do say Oswald is innocent in their story. He's a patsy. But on this side here, I'm even proving the government side right, as Oswald, in fact, was one of the assassins. And he did take 2 shots that day. He didn't take 3, but in fact, he did take 2. And both shots were at JFK. So see, I'm proving both sides now. I'm right. That's why I always said I was always the one in the middle. Because I'm proving their case. This is why I never did understand why they won't help me. Okay, to present this, because all I was doing is backing up their case as well. They said, hey, remember, I said there was a gunman on the grassy knoll that took the fatal headshot to JFK. We could prove it now because that gunman was on the grassy knoll, and that's where that fatal headshot came from. Even though it wasn't behind the picket fence area, but it's just a few feet forward a little bit more, you'd be right in the shelter. That's where the shot came from. But they don't want the glory for everybody else. They want the glory for themselves. That's the biggest key when it comes to JFK assassination research. They need all the glory for themselves. They want to be the ones to bring out the information. This is why I told them time and time again. I wrote every one of them emails and everything else over the years. I will split my research with you go 50-50, just as long as this evidence gets out there. You know, you said, just like when I wrote Jim Myers, you said there was a crossfire. I prove it there was a crossfire. Yeah, our locations of the gunmen are in different locations, but I'm shown the location of the gunman by photographic evidence. He writes him back and says he was very intrigued. He knew there was a crossfire. That's right, there was a crossfire because I proved his case. But he also asked me, can he use some of my colorized images when he was redoing his book, Crossfires? But it was too late. It was already in the printing because he says he loved the colorized images I've done. A lot of people use my colorized images as well. I went across a couple sites the other day, websites where they're showing images of the JFK assassination. They actually have my colorized images posted on their site. They didn't give me no credit for it, but you know, it's not about credit. It's about getting the truth out. Okay. But like I said, everything I found backs up their research and my research at the same time. Yeah, it might not back up their true locations of the gunman they placed, but there still backs up to some of the stuff they say. The gunman on Grassy Knoll, there was a gunman on a Grassy Knoll. The two tramps was in on the assassination day was the gunman on a Grassy Knoll. They were, in fact, the gunman on a Grassy Knoll. Fatal headshot from one guy, the other tramp shot to Governor Conley. I said there's 13 shots fired because the reason why I said 13 shots because that's the only thing can be pinpointed in photographic evidence is 13 shots. Don Abbott, 11 shots. Robert Groden, 12 of the 14 shots. Okay. And everything's almost fitting in with mine as well on that. We all agree there was a gunman on a grassy knoll. They all behind a picket fence. But me, inside shelter number 3. The reason why I said shelter number 3, because I have photographic evidence of them two gunmen there taking their shots. But they're still on the grassy knoll. My research does, in fact, fit eyewitness accounts. As I point up here, the Newmans. Not only they said the shot, you know, JFK's right side of his head opened up and everything else, right? But I also show the two gunmen behind them, as they said, Mr. Pruder. Assassin was behind me. The Newmans, the shots came from directly behind them. What's behind them directly? Shelter number 3. Not the picket fence area, shelter number 3. That's the only thing I'm saying. See, when you piece it together, I've been giving this information out for a while, and I got too many people bother me on trying to put my research down. You know, not against I ain't got nothing to say about them. You know, everybody has their opinion. Don't get me wrong, but they're too busy in keeping their mind closed and not looking at the true evidence I'm presenting, right along with what these other researchers talk about. When you sit there and you start piecing it together, and you sit back and you start thinking, okay, Leroy says those gunmen on a grassy knoll. These other researchers said it as well. Leroy said 2 of the tramps was, excuse me, the gunmen on a grassy knoll that took the fatal headshot JFK and Governor Conley. These other researchers also say, well, these are the gunmen that was behind the picket fence area on a grassy knoll, the 2 tramps. They just put them in a different location or put different names to them. All I did was put them in the shelter and show them that was in the shelter. I didn't put them in their location in the shelter because that's what photographic evidence shows us. But they're placing the gunman over here. I place the gunman over here. They're placing them by a story. I'm placing them by photographic evidence. You see what I'm saying? So when we look at this and we're going, oh, okay, now I understand. They're really right to a point. But everything I said, everything I'm pointing out, everything that I've proven proves their case right along with my case as well. As I said, Jim Myers, there was a crossfire. Yes, there was a crossfire. Right here, Jim Myers, there was a crossfire. They said the 2 tramps was on the gunman on a grassy knoll. I showed the 2 gunmen on the grassy knoll were the tramps. Okay, they have them placed behind the picket fence area, but I have them placed right here in shelter number 3 because that's what photographic evidence shows us. They're inside shelter number 3. Don Howard Donahue said one of the Secret Service agents in a follow-up car shot JFK because he could tell by the bullet that struck the back of JFK's head, went in 15 centimeters and stopped. Okay, he was right that the shot did came in from the right and out to the left, and the angle was almost right, except for it was actually back a little further where that shot came from. It came from the gunman inside shelter number. Inside on the second floor of the county records building. That's where that shot came from. Do you see what I'm saying now? Because with the vehicle being going in downgrade, and by the angle, it's like the bullet was coming straight past that gunman inside of the follow-up car, which I'll bring up this map here. Okay, the bullet be coming down at an angle, and the car's going at an angle, so it's going to approximately land right in this area right here, which we see that right here. We see that in frame 229, where that bullet impact struck right here. It's coming in from the right, going out to the left, but it didn't pass through the head. It actually went in 15 centimeters and stopped. All I'm doing is basically backing up their research and finding evidence to back up their research right along with my research. Was it a conspiracy? Yes. They prove it, and I prove it. There was, in fact, a conspiracy. But because I have Oswald a part of it, they don't want nothing to do with it. Or my gunman ain't in their location, but that's what I'm talking about. If we all got together and we put all this down the line, yes, he's right. Yes, he's right. Yes, he's right. Yes, she's right. This person's right. That person's right. Because they're all right. It's just they didn't have the evidence to back it up. All I did was come along and find the evidence for them. And find the evidence for myself. So we get the proper true story of what happened that day. That's all. And then when you find that true story and you start matching up with the eyewitness account stuff, you'll find out everything fits now. Everything matches up. Everything lines up now. Okay? That's all I did. That's why I said, the evidence of conspiracy has always been there. It's always been there. But they're right on all accounts. Everywhere on this side they're right, and on this side they're right. I'm in the middle. All I'm doing is proving their cases. Placing the gunman in the locations where they're at, because that's where they're at. This is what we can see, and this is where they were at. Okay, here's where the shots made contact, and this is how the shots made contact. They all show the window frame, the windshield. They show the windshield. They show the dent in the chrome of the windshield in between the sun visors. Even Robert Groden now is talking about the manhole cover. Everybody else is talking about the manhole cover, but they're only talking about the one shot to the manhole cover. That'd be the shot here to the corner of the manhole cover. But there was actually 2 shots that struck there. Okay, their story, my research, backs up what they're saying and what I'm saying at the same time. So you see, that's why I said people don't understand that. If you sit back and you go over my research and go over the research, and this, they're saying, well, let's come in behind a picket fence area. Let's do this for a moment. Let's look at this just for a minute. Gunman's behind a picket fence area. Well, Leroy shows the gunman over here. Okay. What location of these 2 things are in? Grassy knoll. So, okay, well, yeah. Both of them saying grassy knoll, is just their location of the gunman are different. That's it. But both of them's got grassy knoll. Fatal headshot come from the grassy knoll. You see? It's always the same, no matter what. But the only reason why I place them in there, in shelter number 3, my claim, is because we can see them there. We see them with rifles, aiming the rifles, firing rifles from that location, and the contact where they made those shots with was JFK's right side of his head, and Governor Connally as he was turned off to his left. So that's fitting his story as well. See, I got eyewitness account stories fitting my research. I have other researchers that fit in my research. They're saying grassy knoll. I said grassy knoll. They're saying the tramps was a gunman on grassy knoll. I'm showing the tramps are on a grassy knoll. All I'm doing is showing their true location and also the tramps were in that shelter. But they wasn't behind a picket fence. That's the only problem. The picket fence. Grassy knoll, same. Tramps, same. Just location. That's the only thing's different. So my research does, in fact, back their research as well. So my research backs their research and also backs my research as well. So you see, people can say all they want. People's going to sit there and put me down all the time, which I understand is people's opinion. But as I show you here, their research is almost like mine. Every researcher is that way. They just want to place a gum in here, a gum in there. All I did was find the exact locations, the true locations of these gunmen, which I'll bring this up right here. They want to place them in the Daltex building, behind the picket fence area, or south side. Eliminate Oswald. The other side wants to eliminate all this other stuff and just have Oswald. Well, I'll prove Oswald was one of the assassins, but also prove there was a gunman down here on Grassy Knoll. But the true location wasn't in the Daltex building. It was a building over in the county records building. You see what I'm saying? That's all. I just moved them over to here because that's where they're at. That's what we can see in the Zapruder film. That's what we can see in the Bell film. So you see what I'm saying? My research matches their research as well to a point. To a point it does. So see, I'm proving their case right along with my case. So I don't understand why they won't help me. They were never going to help me. And I don't know why. Jim Myers can't now because he got rest his soul. He's gone now. Why can't the rest of these researchers get together and say, hey, let's just go ahead and get this done and over and close this case? We know it's a conspiracy now. We can prove there was a conspiracy. We have photographic evidence of these gunmen now. We know the location they were at. We know how many shots were exactly fired. Let's put it to rest. Because it's not going to do no good by keeping this case open more and more, because there's going to be more and more people out there coming up with more and more stories. Okay, when the real researchers that took the time and been there, Jim Myers, Robert Groden, Rookstool, Adams, Donahue, when the real researchers are gone, there's not only a few of them left. Like I said, Jim Myers is gone now. Okay, Mr. Donahue, he's gone now. Okay, Rookstool's still around. Adams, I think, is still around. I think. I don't know. I can't be exact on that. And Robert Groden's still around. Okay, but every day goes by. You can never tell. So you see what I'm saying? Share this video with people. Let them know this information, that evidence of a conspiracy has been proven in the JFK assassination. They say it, and I said it as well. We're together on this if you think about it. We all have this certain kind of evidence. I'm just presenting the evidence that can be seen in the films and images, which also backs up their story to an extent. Like I said, their locations of the gunmen are off, but the photographic evidence in that shows us the true locations and shows us the shots. Jim Myers was right. Robert Groden was right. Don Adams was right. Howard Donahue was right. And Ferris Rookstool was right. And I'm right. So see, I'm not against no researcher. Okay, I even told him this. Your research, I mean, on Jim Myers' Facebook, I think I wrote, you know, you're right. There was a crossfire, and I could prove it. Okay, and he liked that post that I put on his site. He liked it. Okay, it's there. Oliver Stone liked the post I put on his site. And he says, I want to look more into it on the Facebook as well. I wanted to make this video here to clear out the air. I'm not against no other researcher and stuff. And I'm not saying they're totally wrong or nothing. Because as I show you in this video, my research to a point matches their research as well. No ands, or buts about it. My research also matches eyewitness accounts as well. Don't forget that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends about us. Share this video with other people, friends, relatives on social media and stuff so they know this information. Thank you again. And always down below, you're going to find a site where you can order my book, Evidence of a Conspiracy. Thank you, and you have a pleasant, pleasant day.